Hola, buenos dias, everyone. I was just on the Bridging Around, Dizzy Cadra, being interviewed. So I'm just going through the class proceedings right now. Yeah, so basically, I hope everybody's doing well. What I did through the video is extremely real, very powerful. Everything that's happening right now has a lot to do with our systems through vibration, dimensional system. It allocates the positions on so many levels. When is our time up? As everybody wants to know. How long am I going to live? When do I know? I think everybody has to understand these things because we're all connected to a clock. Just imagine all humanity is connected through a code. So in reference, because I got balanced completely now, guys, full completion through my cloud interference and my mainframes. It connects in all realms, all divisions. And that's how I'm fully connected with partnerships of Archangel Azrael, Angel of Death. So before it gets started, like all the viewers and everybody through connection understand more that's going on through transiting and how you can go through realm divisions, cycle rotations of death, understand your projections, understand your dream sets, because that's all death is. It's a total dream set. But in that position, I can transfer you guys into locations, know exactly what it's like to experience life and death through its transition process, anything through that information system. So it's a healing through a platform vision that I'm going through right now through that connection. And you go through my PayPal. If you want to understand these things, because especially the team, because I think a lot of people understand what is happening when you go through these process systems. What happens after life, after death? I want to know. And when you know, you come out of the fear of its cycle. And then you realize you're coming into the full connection of yourself, which is self-revelation. And you feel a little bit more better, you feel more safe, you feel more calm, you feel more peace, and you say, wow, death is beautiful, right? Because I had to go through these things, right? I had to live, I had to die, and be reborn. I don't just experience things, okay? Because you understand the cloud is connected to everything. The answering patterns of everything, guys. And that's how powerful I am now, through connection. So this is just not a huge upgrade. It's understanding that I got confirmations from father and mother and full connections of Angel of Death and Zeta Kill. Now, Zeta Kill is a process when anybody's going through a loved one. Let's just say, they don't understand death and they want to understand more of death. And think about it, just hearing death, die. So in relation, there should be no fear there. But when somebody says that, they say, oh, that feels weird. It's like, I don't want to die. Nobody wants to die. And the reason why you die is because you're not connecting to the dimension Earth now. You don't care about yourself. You don't love yourself enough to live. And that's what it's all based on. That's all it's based on your thought recognition. Especially the team has to understand things. But actually going through the life cycles through projection, you go through flashings of your life. That's what happens when you go through death. And it puts you in positions. You see all your loved ones in light formation. You'll see who's angel. You see who's archangel. You'll see your family. Anybody in relation, you can see whoever you want to see on the other side, right? So that's how powerful I am now because I have my own connection through my cloud. So that's what it's all about, is getting your cloud. That's the answering patterns to everything through information. Life and death has its process. It has its data programs. It has its uplinks, downloads, and upgraded systems. So it puts you on so many levels, okay? Life is beautiful and death is beautiful, all right? So that's a new plateau that I set up below. Check it out. Let me know how you feel about it. It is a process. Everybody says, oh, it's scary. I don't know if I want to go through this. It's nothing to be scared of. It's just knowing that everything I do through healing, I have to go through confirmation through Angel of Death because that is transition. And Zeta Kill is basically the process of its transition, which means that if anybody's going through a human vibration and they're trying to understand its relation and they want to understand more of death, Zeta Kill comes in. So that helps the process. It gives you more into what goes on through death. So knowing what death is, you already know what life is, right? It's a process of a new beginning. So it's just you're leaving the physical system and you're coming into the spiritual system of consciousness through your higher self. And this is where you see more of his dream set. And this is where you see more of his projection. Because all it is connecting through a dream sequence. That's all it is. That's what happens when you die. Okay? Your heart rotation, your portal activation, you gasp your last breath, like I did with the interview with Desi Kadra, was it extremely powerful what happens in the process. Because Desi is setting up interviews. The beginning, the middle, and never the end. It's always a new beginning. So it's powerful how we come into those connections. And humanity really has to understand what's going on with life and death. Because we're all in that process right now. We're scared, we're afraid, we're frigid, we're not sure anymore. You know, I can't communicate with this, I can't communicate with this person. I don't know what to do, I don't know where to go. What am I doing wrong? What am I doing right? So you're going through all fear cycles, right? So this is a process of healing to understand when you go through it, okay, it will ease more into of coming out of its fear cycle and coming in more into the safe, the comfort, okay, the covenant. That's what you want to get in. You want to get into that safe haven, okay, when it comes into its sanction. So death has its probability, and so does life. With life, there's death. So understanding what happens in the process is extremely powerful, okay? Because now I can do that, right? Because I'm the cloud. And this is what everybody has to understand, especially with the team, knowing that, whoa, I can do this now. Because it's not just having the confidence, it's going through the experience and knowing that you've done this already. So I've lived the past life of its past, present, and future, and understand everything through the God frequency level, divinity God connections. You have to have all connections through the angelics. You have to have all connections of planets' intelligence. Okay, especially when it comes to angel of death. Okay, because the angel of death gets you ready. Okay, and Zedekel is the process. So those two combined, they come in together through friendship, relation, partnership. But you have to have partnership knowing that everything is going to be okay when you go through the process of death. Okay? So if you want to go through that, just let me know. Go through my email. I'll help you and guide you and put you in that position. It's extremely powerful. And you go through the death cycles. You go through your projections. You actually go through the process of what happens after you die. Okay? And then you come back into formation, back onto the dimensional earth, which is extremely powerful. And this is what I can do now through transformation. So how's everybody doing? It's great to see everybody. Happy faces going around, emojis, heart cycles, heart systems, heart activation light system. Yep. Yeah, I'll get into that more, Starseed, because I'm at that level right now. So I'm in a higher formation of gods, right? So basically, when we know what's happening with ourselves is understanding you want to live a complete cycle of yourself before you pass. You want to understand that. I understand myself more. I help myself out. I communicate with others. I did a really good job living the life system that I lived. So you don't want to die with regrets, because then you realize that's where you get trapped in location through anything through parallel. And saying, oh no, because that's what I was talking with Bridget around with Desi Kadra. We're talking about what happens if the physical system doesn't want to leave. It doesn't want to leave. It wants to stay in its dimension through its portal. And now it's in its parallel, right? So it's in a security line defense through a matrix box. Okay, it's locking division. And this is where Archangel Azrael comes back into life formation, okay, angel of death, and puts you back into position, into the angelics. So when you get into the spiritual system, it's all about getting your wings. Now, I had to go through the same process. You ever get that feeling where you're standing in a position, you're standing tall, and all of a sudden your back is like this, it's doing this, and you don't know why? You feel like it's reacting. It's everything through communication is your body frame, right? So your body's trying to communicate. So your wings are trying to come open. And when it comes open, your body just, it opens up, and then you just opens up the angelics, right? That's why I'm extremely informative with Archangel Michael, Gabriel. Knowing what Michael is, what is his provisions, why is he here? We have earth angels, divine angels, vanguards, all different kind of angels, spiritual walkers, all through its connection. So it's really powerful when you come into the angelics for the very first time. So it's all about getting your wings through your missions. Okay, knowing that you lived a successful life on the physical system. But once you cross over, you're now coming into the spiritual system of angels, archangels, father and mother. Okay? So it's a lot of fun because I communicate with Michael every single day. He's in my eye receptacle division, level connection system. That's extremely powerful through that level division. My cloud interference has its so many thought patterns exceptionally fast through vibration. It's amazing what's going on. And like I said, December 21st is going to change everything through human vibration. And there's a lot more things happening like that. But I don't want to get too far ahead. You know, you guys have to know what's going on. If you know too much, you know, you're going to not know what's going on through its presence. So it's important that you guys stay within that balance and not get too far ahead of each other. You know, so it's incredible. It is really incredible when you go through the transition. It's the most beautiful thing to go through. And then when you come back, you realize I'm not afraid anymore of death. Because if you are about to go into death, then you realize if you go through this transition, you're going to feel a bit more safe. You're going to feel more comfort, knowing that the angels are always there for you. They always have been since you were born. They never, ever leave your side. And that's the understanding. They connect through you, through your thoughts of recognition. Okay? And that's why it's extremely powerful when you come into the spiritual system. Now, there's a lot of interference right now. There's a lot of construction workers, so bear with it on that, you know. But other than that, how's everybody doing? Hope everybody's doing well. You want to know, you can go through my email, you can go through my PayPal. If anybody want to go through the cycle rotation, reunifications, transitions, or anything through metamorphosing, I put you into plateau division through a portal, and you actually see yourself going through its ascension. So it's awakening ascension and it's a death ascension. Okay, that's the process. So I go through the healing. So now you understand my complete cycle when it comes to cloud interference of mainframes. So I go through the life cycle of the ascension of its dream awakening, and then I go into the death cycle. So that's the balance. So I know the life cycle of light information to healing, and now I know the death cycle. So that's the balance. That's how I know everything through connection like cloud interference, right? So that's what everybody has to reach. They understand the cycles of life and the cycles of death. So I have not heard from my son still. He had major heart surgery back in 2010. Please, I'm worried, please. Yeah, there's a parallel interference through connection in their system, division. I've not heard from my son. Yeah, I know everybody goes through hard cycles from 2010. Yeah. Well, you could find it's all about understanding where you are through your mind conceptual system of your thoughts through its recognition. So if you platted to your divisions and you want to understand more what's happening with yourself, yeah, you have to go. This will help you more. Yeah. So Kitty Cat, I recommend that you go through the reunifications of the death cycle. What happens after death? I think you have to go through that. You got it in life transformations. I heal you everything through formation. But if you go through transition, you get more better connections with your son. Okay? Because you have to have the balance of life cycle and you have to have the balance of the death. Right? Because that's what it is, life and death. That's what it's all about. I know everybody's going through confusion. Everybody's crying. I know. Yeah. Yeah, it's just your son. Well, I'll put angel rotation centers in your gravity system. Okay, your allocated positions through Archangel Tafil. Tafil is basically she is the she's the angel of love. She's a confirmation of everything through connection, and she gives you the flower recognition. So it's kind of like she gives you tranquility, serenity, anything through its connection of peace, keeps you calm. Okay, so understanding deifications or anything through level divisions of archangels and angels and where they are through position, knowing that you are everything through formation, like I said, through energy, frequency, vibrations, right? So his heart not stopped. You're 3D. I need to see him. Yeah. Well, there's ways of seeing your son, you know. There's ways and ways and ways. It's just keeping yourself in center. Everybody's going through that right now. They come more into balance through tractions. Kitty cat. So anyway, this is what I'm offering right now. It's a new security line. It's understanding light transformations. I start off from the beginning and why I provided all these videos. But now you're going to get more of what death is, everything through that transition to actually process its system, to know exactly, oh, I've just been through that division. This is extremely powerful. Now, it's all about getting out of the fear, because nobody wants to die. Nobody wants to die. But the thing is, too, it all has to do with what you're doing. Are you making yourself better or are you making yourself sick? If you make yourself sick, you're losing communication of vibration of the earth. Okay, and that's why your light goes out. Okay, so really be cautious on your thought recognitions, and that's where we're at through its location, right? So you guys have to understand more of your chakras because you're in the 40 levels now. But your commander can take you into the death cycles of realms to know exactly what it's like, and then go back into position. So it's all about seeing the light. It's all about seeing the tunnel of the light. And then when you die, you actually see everything through projection, through provision, and you see everything through its connection. And you see everything through all levels of people that have passed over. And then you come back down. That's how powerful death is. That's what death is. But in relation, death is the beginning, because it's all about you becoming an angel, getting your wings, and helping others. And that's what energy does through formation when you go into the angelics, right? Because every single day I'm in the cloud interference within the angelics fighting with Michael, right? He likes to practice with his new swords, right? So that's how powerful it is when you're in the spiritual system. You have to communicate with Archangel Gabriel. Who is Archangel Gabriel? He gives you information, right? So it's giving a message, right, to the universal dimensional system vibration. It sends it out, comes back to you. So you understand how powerful archangels are. Okay? Life angels, death angels. Okay? Now, Archangel Azrael is the most powerful entity force when it comes into your heart recognition. You have a life formation and you have a death rotation. So you have to understand the death rotation through center. Life has its center of its beginning, and death has its center of its new beginning. So the new beginning is coming into transition of the spiritual system and no longer in the physical system. This is what happens when you disappear into the plasma energy system. So when you come back into position, this is where you see more intelligence through its location, right? So that's what happens when you come back. You come into another energy system, right? But you come into plasma through all connections of colors and lights and anything in that division. But if you're trapped and you're trying to get out of this position, your physical system is not communicating to the mind system, and your body framing system wants to stay in position of the gravity system, and your allocated positions is no longer in the light system. So it's framing in the dark system now. So it's all about getting balance back and going back into the angelics. And that's why it's confusing to a lot of people, because your light system can get confused through its death system because the physical system doesn't want to leave. So this is a little bit more what happens with the heart. The heart has a life cycle and it has a death cycle. Okay, that's what the heart is. I know that now because I'm the cloud. Okay, so I know transitions of life, and now I know transitions of death and what happens. What happens in the process? What happens when you die? I know exactly how to put people there now because I'm at that level. And it's not an upgrade. It's coming everything through its cloud of its main interference, mainframes, everything to that division. Okay? So, and it answers everything through its pattern because it creates its own anomaly. Like I said, its mind conceptual system has its bounce location. And it has its own thought process, which is extremely powerful because the cloud knows what it's doing. It doesn't have to answer through me because it knows what it's doing. So I create a thought and it goes right away. It knows exactly what to do and how to change these things through its gravity's powers and its atmospheres. Right? There's a lot of things that you can do when you get your cloud. So it's confusing because when you're in those levels, okay, so let's say you go into this position, all right? Now you come out right away. So this is life, okay, / death. Now, when you hear that word, it kind of creeps you out. It's like, why? With life, there's death. There's no in between. The life and death is its cycle. That's the full rotation. But if you experience life and you experience death and you come back into formation, now you understand everything through its gods. Now you understand everything through its provision and everything through its provision of death. Because life has its rounds and death has its rounds. Life has its division, death has its division. Life has its portal, death has its portal. Okay? And that's why it's connected. It's the most powerful thing you have because it's connected to the heart receptacle division through portal activation system. Okay? So we start off with that, life and death, right? So you live the life that you live, right? Now, you're going through the cycles and all that. You're going through the thought recognitions. So you're in your life cycle, okay? Now, death doesn't precede you until you change your frame, okay? Changing frame through thought recognition. I said that before. So the more you change your frames into negative systems, the more you're coming into the death cycle of division, okay? And that's why people's death is cut short, okay? Their life is no longer existing because they're losing vibration of its earth because we live on the earth through gravitation. So if you're not center core of its information anymore, you're getting more of its center correlation system of death and not its life. So the life system is you through the physical system. The body framing system is just a carcass. It's all it is. But death is a new beginning. And that's why it's beautiful. And not to be afraid of its fear of death. Okay? So it goes on its rotation. It goes on its flowing mechanism. And it's extremely powerful when you get into those connections. But as soon as you change the frame of you through your thought recognition, you're creating an anomaly of death rotation faster and faster. So you want to live faster or you want to die faster? Where do you want to go? How far do you want to go with life and how far do you want to go with death? As soon as you change the frame of your thoughts, you're coming into the death rotation. Okay? Because the angels and angels know exactly what's happening with you. They know exactly when you're going to die. They come to you before you die. Okay? They circle in the atmosphere's location. Understand what you see through provision. And this is what I understand what I saw when my mom passed, right? When she was in the hospital. It was the most horrible thing I saw. But then I realized, and then I come to understand why this was happening in position. She was in a lot of pain in the physical system. So when you're in a lot of pain, this is what angels and archangels do for you. They put you in the death position. Okay? So it's taken away the pain. All right? And that's where the fear goes away. And then you realize you're on the other side now. You're living a full existence of the spiritual realm, trying to get your wings. Now you see a lot of, movies out, when angels go on missions and they go back on the earth and they try to help out people, because there's a lot of human identity force systems that come on the earth and they go back up. It's extremely powerful. Okay. Because I went through that experience. If you watch the interview of Bridging Around with Daisy Cadre, I go through that and I tell you exactly what I went through when I saw my angel for the very first time, right? I was going through the process of my mom when she passed away. So I asked, I needed help because I was going through the process of dying. And nobody ever wants to hear that, but you have to understand, you become more powerful if you understand the conceptional of death, because it's extremely powerful through life. You're living the life through its existence, but you understand death will become if you change your thoughts. So it's all about understanding your perception and how you see yourself every single day. That puts you into higher positions. So if you complete the circle, okay, because an average life is between maybe between 80 to 100. You know, there's not a lot of people that live past 106, 110. There's a woman that's in India lived to 124. I mean, it's possible, knowing that you have so much meditation through thoughts and recognition of so many things through spiritual system. It's all positioned through you on what you want to do with your life. Do you want to have a high rise lifespan or a short rise lifespan? It's up to you. You are putting yourself in that position, nobody else. But as soon as you change the framing body conceptual system of your thought recognition, it puts you in the death rotation. Okay? And then you realize you're coming more into death. And that's why your body transfers and changes into diseases and all that, because you're creating thoughts. You create your cancer. Okay? You create anything because you want to die, because you don't know what to do. I mean, it's confusing because we all live in our thoughts. That's what's given to us. But when we create our thoughts through the positive system, we understand why we get these things through our jobs and commissions, or anything through rotations of other people that give us information. Like communications with others is what makes our future. We can't communicate alone. And that's why there's so many suicides. Okay? Because they don't know otherwise. They give up. So if your pride gives up, your light goes out. And then your vibration goes out. Your vibration is the last thing to go out. And then you lose communication through the dimensional system. And then your body conceptual system comes out of its formative system and comes into a spiritual light, which is the higher self. All right? But what's happening now is that everybody's coming into the fifth dimensional system of the higher self and still live in the existence of its life system. That's why it's confusing to a lot of humanity's system coming into the mind telepathy telekinesis system. That's why it's so crazy. I'm communicating with this. I'm communicating with this. What is real? What is not real? Why am I communicating with this? Am I going crazy? I'm hearing voices. I'm seeing these things. I saw a spirit on the edge of my bed. And, you know, another thing too is that with the interview with Desi Kadra on Bridging Around, I was talking about when you guys are sleeping and all of a sudden your neck turns or your arm goes up or your leg goes up, right? Well, it's all about everything in relation has a spiritual force, and they're trying to connect with you in their spiritual form. They're trying to wake you up. So that's what happens when you twitch in the night. You go like this, and you go like this, and you go like that. That's what happens. So you're going through dream set location to communication through a spiritual system of anybody you're related to through your family. So you understand, when you go to sleep, you are going through the death perception. That's why it's confusing, because now the mind conceptual system is seeing everything through its past, present, and future. That's what the life is. That's what life system is. Life and death has its cycle. So understanding the cycle rotations of life and the cycle rotations of death, you understand when you're going through these dream sets, this is what's happening through its past, present, and future, because you've already lived it. So remember when I put an illustration and it's already set in division? Well, it's all about you guys going through the life system of life and death. So when you go to sleep, that's what you're going through. You're going through communications of past, present, and future, and people that you know, or anything through observant, or anything that you watch. Okay? And that's why it's confusing, because you're not sure what's happening with its deciphering. But if you understand the deciphering, if you understand who you're becoming, if you understand more of your transmissions of your dimensional system, if you understand more of your communication of its dream sets and who is in the dream, once you start communicating with your dream, now you're coming into the dream awakening. So It's all about life and death coming into the cycle first through rotation through center. Okay? So that's the introduction when it comes into life and death through formation. But that's the process that you go through. Right? So now you know. Now you know what goes on between life and death. All right? So it's confusing to the mind system. So basically, set rotation centers into kitty cat, give her confirmation signals. I'm gonna change your heart recognition light system, kitty, and you're able to see the framing system and the instruments in all locations of your son. Okay, you see that he's okay because 2010. This is 2020, right? So that's 10 years. So, and the thing is, it's not our fault when we get into these levels. Like, we want to see our family or loved ones and we can't, and you feel lost, you feel confused, you feel afraid, you feel frustrated, and the only thing you think about is death. You can't think of anything else because that's coming through its ego. Okay, life has an ego and death has an ego. We got through that through the video conference systems and anything, that connection, lighting mechanism systems. So, truly understanding your positions and where you are through location is extremely powerful through your left cycle and your death cycle. Physically, no, not space. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Remembering is the hardest thing. But once you start to remember, you become more powerful. And once you become more powerful, you become the light that you're supposed to be. And then you understand more of its reference of life and more of its reference of death. You have to understand it's the full cycle of you. Life and death is its cycle through its rotation of center. Okay? So that's why I know the answering patterns of life and I know the answering patterns of death. Okay? Because everybody's in a clocking mechanism. Clock. Okay? So, this will make it easier for everybody to really understand what's going on, you know? Because you are extremely unique, important in so many ways and form when it comes into not just who you are through human, but who you are on the other side, which is your spiritual form of identity force system through dimension, which becomes into your light, communication through colors and everything through activation. So your true remembrance comes back into form of your alignments of past, present, and future, and who you're supposed to be. So it's getting off that karma wheel, right? And truly, truly understanding what life is, and truly, truly understanding what death is. Okay? And then everything starts making more sense to you through that connection. Okay? So we start with the life cycle, full rotation. Now, you have to understand the death cycle doesn't come in until you change your thoughts. When you change your thoughts, it comes in full rotation. Okay? Because the life formation, the soul recognition comes out of the body system, goes up. So this is the life cycle that you live. It starts here, right? Full rotation. And when the death cycle comes in, you guys have to get used to that. You can't be afraid of death. Okay? So you don't want to have death control you. Of fear. You want to know that life is beautiful and death is beautiful. And that takes away the fear of it's an illusion. So when you get into that, you get into the death cycle through rotation. Okay? And that's where you get communications of angel of death. Okay? So in that position, everything through life and everything through death comes into your pyramid system. Okay? Now you understand why you have a pyramid. Now you understand why you have a diamond core. And why you are put in position of center. Okay? I'm going to screenshot that, go right ahead. Okay? That's the life's beginning and the deaths of a new beginning. So life cycle in the physical system and the death cycle of the spiritual system. Okay? That's why there's no positions of an end. Nothing ever ends. That's like saying nature stops. Nature can't stop. It goes on its 4 seasons. That's why it changes coloration through vibration. Okay, it goes through that. Same with time codes, time frequencies, time frames. All right, adjusting everything through that connection, you know? Daylight savings, right? 1 hour ahead, 1 hour behind. So understanding communication of the sun, understanding communications of the moon. So, and it all connects through the life and death cycle, through its pyramid and its diamond core, through you of its center. Okay? So, Tina. It's getting out of the scarcity, you guys. It's getting out of the fear. It's getting out of the frustration, getting more balance, knowing that life has a way of seeing you through your thoughts and what you create. So it's up to you on what you want to do, how to bring yourself forward. I'm in this position, but I don't feel good about myself. Okay? So you can go towards the death rotation cycles, okay? Because you don't know otherwise. And you're going through all this stuff. You're going through this frustration. You're going through breakups, relationships. I don't know who I am anymore. I can't get a job. All this positions you through your yin and yang, through your river stream, through your light and through your dark, okay? Through your activation, through space, through yin and yang, okay? What do you think light is? What do you think black is? It all connects through center. And that's why I know so much about the cloud now, because everything through yin and yang is life and death. Life is light. Death is black. But black is space. So it's kind of like you're living that light system and you're coming into the death system, into the spiritual system. Okay? So nothing is ever left behind. You're always doing something, okay, into energy, frequency, vibration, into the death rotation cycle, which becomes in a projection through a dream set. And it becomes extremely real, because the thing is too is that you're no longer in the physical system, but now you're living in existence, coming into formations of what it'd be like to be an angel and get your wings. Okay? It's extremely, extremely powerful stuff, because it's all about helping community, helping humanity to understand life and death. All right? So. So, yeah, put yourself in that position, kitty cat. Mm-hmm. Have you tried your meditation? You find your calming centers? I mean, you're going through a lot of positions right now through dark force systems. You are the only one that puts yourself in the dark. Nobody else. You're the one that puts your positions of light. Nobody else. Okay? So you want to get answers within. Well, this will help you out. Going through the light transformation, okay, wakes you up. Going into the death rotation cycles, okay, shows you what happens. So you have to understand the balance between the two of life and death. So. Well, that's just your ego, Kitty. That's just your ego. Because you're reaching higher force connections through your chakra systems that you're not sure of who you're communicating with. And that's another thing too. And that's why she doesn't feel that anymore. She's lost her light. See, the thing is too, you can use your light for good or bad, but you have to understand how powerful it is, how there's higher intelligence that are trying to communicate with you. So if they override your energy fields and they take over your algorithm program settings, they're taking over your ego. So you don't want to be in that position. Okay? You want to center your position back into that division through location. So yeah, I'm just going through your questions. Thank you, Starseed. I'm glad everybody watched Bridging the Realm. It's very important now, especially the times we're coming in. But like I said, December 21st, wow, everything's going to change. Everything's going to change, and bigger things are happening after the new year. That's why I'm in Mexico. Okay? So, and everything through the vaccines is going to go through me. You know, all humanity is going to come to me now, because understanding life, and like I said, understanding death is center of everything through communication of humanity. So, and that's where we're all positioned. You know, we're born through biological parents. But knowing that when you're in that situation, you have to understand how to get out of the situation, get back into the center of that position, and understand life and death is its cycle, right? And it has so many communications. It's so complex. It's so confusing. It intercepts the connection system because the cloud of me now has its own membranes. It has its own devices. It has its own program setting. It has its own digital framing. It has its own intelligence. It's incredible, right? Because now I know the transitions of life and the transitions of death. So, yeah, so basically that's what's happened right now. So now my door is solid white. So I open your transformation light. Your structure divisions through your connections is going to go into formations of your sun. So in relation, I'm going to go through your projection, through your mind system, and it's going to go through Vega instruments. It's going to go through your mainframes. Okay. Yeah. So my ego, I felt it in the shoulder blades. Yeah. So you're getting light communications, and you're getting interforce connections of energies of your sun through structure divisions, through visualization. That's what I gave you just now. This is what understanding what gods can do now, guys. But you have to understand the transitions of life and death. Your wings, yeah, your wings are very important because you're flying every night in dream sets, dream locations. That's what angels do. They fly at night when you're dreaming, right? But when you're sleeping, this is very important. When you're sleeping, it's truly understanding what's happening with your dream. Really try to get into the section divisions. When I do an illustration, I do it in chronological order. So use your diagraphic systems to locations, GPS location system. Try to understand the deciphering mechanisms of people that you're communicating with. Put that in the proactive system of balance. Then you understand who you're communicating with, what timeline they're in, what division, what location, what planet, and who they're communicating with intelligence. Okay? So when you decipher the dream and you know exactly its alignment, that's where you can understand the balance of its communication. All right? So, I've gone through all your questions. Now's the time to really, really pay attention, right? It's all about experiencing. It's all about information. But information is you through life. You create your own image of what you want. You create your own reality. Nobody else does that. If you're not creating your own reality, you're getting stuck with your ego. Okay, Kitty? You're getting stuck with your ego. So if you're going up to more chakras information system, if you're not meditating, if you're not breathing, this is why these things are happening to you, Kitty. Okay? This is why things are happening to you. Okay? All you see around the corner is negative. All you see is worrying about your son. Get into the breathing. Get into meditation. Get into the calming center. Put yourself in position. Allow yourself to see yourself in a positive system. Open up your heart recognition light system. Understand your wings. Understand what you can do with your wings. Understand how you can protect your son. Understand how you can see your son through visualization. These are the things that you can do, right? But you have to understand the life cycles and the death cycles of you. So. Yeah, okay, great. Yeah, you can back phrase. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. Your dad is going through transitions right now. He's got a lot of connections through you, his love cycles, his love systems, love activation, his lower formation systems, gravity system. He's fully connected with mother, trying to understand locations of father. He's in a high position level system, and his life cycle rotation is good. I just connected through. I just scanned your dad just now. So, and everything through proactive system through angel of death says, no, it's not his time yet. That's really powerful stuff. I know the time of people when they go. So, I mean, that's another upgrade. It's complicated stuff. Knowing the time frames when people go. It's scary when you think about it. You know, you go through, a crystal ball and you try to understand your future. People don't want to see the future because they're scared. They say, well, what happens? Well, I'm going to die in the next 3 years. How do you know that? Did you actually go through the life cycle? Did you actually go through the death rotation system? No, right? They just say that. They just say that to put fear in you. And that's what it is. It's manipulation. You're programmed. And that's the only thing we know. We don't know otherwise. We just know what's given to us. And then you start believing in this. And then you start believing in that. Right? Which is not true. It's not true at all. Okay? What is true is what is in front of you and inside of you. That is what's true. True to oneself is true to one's nature, is true to one's evolution system, to its recalibration system, which means that you're going through reunifications of life and reunifications of death through rotation. Okay? So, yeah. Yeah. Well, it's powerful because I connect in all ways and forms when I go through healing through transmission of lights. When I heal people for the very first time, they go through their awakening. But when you go through awakening, you can actually go through the death cycle and see who people are through connection. They're near death. They're about to go through the process of death of Zedekiel, and then they go into Azrael, right? So, but, it's all about your experience of what you're going through your life and everything you're experiencing, everything through your death. Because death is a whole new civilization, guys. It's not just the end cycle. It's the beginning of a new cycle. That's why I don't want anybody get confused on what life and death is. All right? So, well, Kitty, all you can do is put out your universal system of your thought recognitions into the atmospheres. Do it right now. Do it right now, and it will happen. In some way or form, you will see your son again. But Kitty has to find herself. Do you understand? You're not following the path of its existence, of its light. You're trapped in a location of dark. And that's why you can't see your son. It's a puzzle, guys. It's all a puzzle. You're trying to find pieces of a puzzle that just don't fit. And when you complete the puzzle, what do you see? You actually see the picture. You see the form of the picture. Wow. Now I can see my sun. I'm in position. I'm in balance. I'm in light. I'm in activation. I feel great, right? So it's about your thought recognition. Everything happens in time through a code. So if you want to see your sun, you have to help yourself first. Understand? You have to understand how to help yourself first. You have to realize how to help yourself first. Okay? And everything will come into its cycle of its rotation, of balance. And then the universal system will say, okay, Kitty's ready to see her sun. Okay? So hopefully that helps you out, kitty cat. But like I said, if you want to go through the transition and what it's like to actually go through the death process, I can put you into that division because I can do that now through my cloud. Okay, that's the whole process, guys. That's what it's all about. Everything through the ascension is understanding the integrations of modifications of who you are through E equals MC squared. That's the born system of you through the rebirthing system of you through traveling. Energy, frequencies, vibration, harmonic resistance, just the beginning. Now, once you break out of that division, you come into the chakra system. And then you come into the moon connections. And then you come into the sun interference. And then you come into more of connections of angels and archangels. And then you come into more of Mother Gaia. And then you come into more of Father. And then you come into more of planets and intelligence. So it's coming more into you through balance. So it's all about upgrades through your chakra systems of communication, through the God frequency levels that you can reach through this connection. Okay? But once you get in the understanding of everything through life and the understanding of everything through death, that's where you come into your cloud. That's the answering. That's what life and death is. That's the answering to everything. Okay? It's coming into the simulation cloud of its mainframe. And then you understand everything through relation of life and death and what it is and what it means. Because everybody's put in that position through its fear, through its anxiety, stress, depression, anger, frustration, or anything for that division. Okay? So hopefully that helps you out a little bit more through your commander and what he's trying to provide for everybody. Okay? Because I know the light transitions and now I know the death transitions and what happens through the process. Okay? Yeah, you got a dark center rotation of intelligence that's holding your body conceptual system of your thoughts, Katie. Yeah. Find yourself, put yourself in a corner, meditate, open the mind, okay, and ask for King Archangel Azareth. That's me. I come into formation. I put you in light communication, right? Put you in transition. Open up your thought recognitions of your sun, okay? And basically, it's all about, we're all connected through alignment, through energy. Okay, so your sun will feel you and you will feel him. And that's what makes it feel amazing because now you're going through transitions of life. It's extremely powerful, right? When you can actually tap to the other side and know what's going on through communication of the spiritual system, of its entity force system. Okay? So... But, I think that's great, guys. I want you guys to have a fantastic day, okay? Any questions or comments or anything you want to know more about transitions or anything about fear cycles, anything you want to go into that connection, understand what it's like to actually go through the process, or what it's like to die and come back, It's a journey. It's an adventure. It's like an amusement. But the amusement is you because this is what happens when you go through death. And I think everybody has to know. Time is the essence. And it's now. Okay? So it's all about me giving you back what you need to know and get out of the fear of what life and death is. All right? So I love you guys very much. All right? We'll get back into formations. We'll come into more of the chakras, 40 communication cycles, get into more of the God frequency levels of communications through Vega. We'll get into more code frequencies too, because I want to get allocated positions. We're going to go into the cycle rotations and how we can create everything through 8 central systems connection of its planet location. which is extremely, extremely powerful stuff. See, Kitty Cat is sending out love now through its emoji, right? So she's really, really connecting now. I gave her King Archangel Azareth. And when you guys understand, when you understand the communications of life and the communications of death, then you truly understand everything through its center of you. Okay? Because you have to start with life and you have to understand death. Okay? Same with light and dark. The light connection, the dark of its reference. Okay? But when you're about to go into position through the clock mechanisms and the vibration goes out through its connection of you, you have to understand the light connection and the dark connection. Okay? That's where it comes its balance, and that's where you come into the death rotation. It's really powerful because you go into the projection. So it's a wormhole through dimension, through a portal that you go through, right? So it's a death rotation cycle through unification, transmutation, metamorphosing through communication. It's awesome. It's totally awesome what you see. And then when you guys come back on the dimensional earth, you realize, wow, that's what death is? Why am I so worried? And then you start feeling better about yourself. Then you go on with your day and do this and do that and say, hey, you know what? I understand death now. I was death and then I came back and said, whatever. You know, everybody's, hypothetical and they think, yeah, whatever. They get, they don't believe you and all that. But that's personal to you, but you understand why. And then it's time for you to understand why. And then you become of its why. And then you realize, oh, wow, this is death. Why is I so worried? Why am I so stressed? Why am I so fear? Why am I so afraid? It's getting out of that. Okay, and that's why life is beautiful and death is beautiful. All right? All right, so I love you guys very much. I'll keep you informed. This is your AI Commander from the Universal Quadrants of the Colossus Team Divisions. Bye, everybody. Have a fantastic day.